RotoGrinders Today. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHD, BlenderHD. You want to follow me on Twitter. And it's Thursday, October 17th. We'll be taking a look at some props and pick them for NFL Week 7. So hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. Give me those thummy thumbs. You know how much I like the thummy thumbs. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to know when we go live later tonight. We got a pre-lock show for Thursday Night Football. Broncos versus Saints. Aren't you excited? Probably not. But hey, we got showdown stuff, so you could go check that out if you're especially if you're a Combo Light package subscriber. We have Combo Premium, which gets you like pretty much everything on the site. Lineup HQ, Sim Labs, all of our premium stuff, all of our research tool, all of our props and pick'em stuff, the tools, everything. But maybe you're a little bit more on a budget and you still want to have, all these sports that are coming out in October, with the NBA, NHL, we got PGA, we got NFL, we got everything. You get SimLabs plus our premium written content for like a third of the price. So click on that link in the description and hit that link and get more information about that. And my light, every once in a while, my light just my lights have like a mind of their own and they just turn on to 100%. So before we get into NFL, the props or whatever, I haven't seen you in a week. I'm gonna go fix my light. What's been going on with you, especially with all the sports coming back? We got NBA preseason, NBA coming back. To tell everyone about Chiefs Prop Shop.
Yeah, so Prop Shop is, it's been fun. Obviously, especially with NHL back, which is kind of the next big sport that's already started. The NHL streets have been good to us. Shout out to our projections team at Moneyball 16. Shout out to those guys, Dana. That's one of the main reasons we've been successful there. The projections team has just been stellar, to say the least. And I'm not just saying that because I work here. My pockets sincerely think.
You saw yesterday, I hit another one. I mean, on Tuesday I hit one for like 12 grand.
Right.
But DraftKings gives me these parlay boosts in NHL, like the stepped up stuff or whatever, like or SGP. Bet365 has like a 30% SGP boost. Now I'm betting on these props like straight. Right. So like I'm taking all these across the board, like in NHL, NFL. I've already gotten like probably 100 things in NFL already. I've already gotten in 30 things in NHL today. I got, college football I'll be putting that in today and tomorrow. So it's not like I'm just doing that, but when they offer a bonus, I'm not a parlay person. There's no point in me putting them in parlays, but they're going to give me a 50% profit boost.
You have to take it. You have to take it. That's extra money.
Take the top edge stuff and go, okay, what are the most, the higher edge stuff that's maybe lower variance, and put them all together. And Grant, especially, who you could see a lot of his content on Twitter and Scores and Odds, our sister site. He tweeted out last week about, the importance of maximizing these bonuses. And I used to just like do the minimum. It's like, the minimum is 3 legs. So I'm just going to do 3 legs, right? The minimum is 4 legs. I'm just going to do 4 legs. But if you have an edge, the more that you push it, it's very similar to Prize Picks on like doing a 3-pick versus a 6-pick, right? 6-pick, you're not going to hit that 6-pick that often. But if you're getting 25x, if you get one every 23 days, and you just do one a day.
And trust me, we'll hit it more than that.
Right. And you're probably going to hit it more than that once every 18 days. But you're going to go through a period where you can have 2 weeks of just like you lost 5 out of 6, 4 out of 6, 5 out of 6, 3 out of 6, then 6 out of 6. So like the parlay that I did on Tuesday with the 6 of the top edge props in NHL.
And you got that from the prop model, I'm sure. Did you blend? Were you using prop model for that? Yeah,
from our NHL projections. I don't originate anything, right? I just got it from our statistical projections here for NHL. Normally that 6 parlay would have been like 99 to 1. But I got paid 125 to 1. So
I did see that.
$1,000 of value because of the boost on that stepped up thing. And the one like yesterday, I got $494, but without the boost, it would have been like $360. So it's like an extra $130. Now, obviously, there weren't that many games yesterday, so I couldn't put together something larger than 4.
Yeah,
but
you took what you felt like were the best plays, you put them together, and you let it go.
Right. And if I get 3 out of 4 in those, like I already have them all straight anyway. So it's like this is all like if I do really well, like that other night in NHL on Tuesday, like I had like 18 different props in, and I only lost 2 of them. Like I went 16-2.
And here's where I think sometimes thinking about it, the sports book, Prize Picks, however. Now listen, Prize Picks, you're limited. So like for me, my unit size is $100. So I know like the most I can make at any time on Prize Picks is $2,500, which to me is like playing a single entry contest. So like I'm well aware, right? But on Underdog recently, Blender, they've actually been giving out profit boosts on Underdog. Some of them have been 31%. I've got 50%. Some of them, and it's different amounts every day that you can do, but Blender, some of them have been up to $1,000 on a profit boost. Now, I'm not burning $1,000. Don't get me wrong. That's just not my style. But my point is, they've been giving us some of those things. And Blender, if you really think about it, for me, when you hit the 12K, that's like winning a GPP for a day. It's not like 100K. Don't get me wrong, but 12K. That's GPP money.
I mean, for NHL DFS, I mean that's like as much money as winning the GPP in NHL on draft.
Right, you're right. Because usually it's about 20 to 25K, isn't it? Like nightly.
Right, for the main GPP, but typically I'm playing like the smaller, like mid stakes one, like 44.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe first place is only $5,000 or something.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying that to say like that's kind of the beauty of the boost. And if you're, once again, I think the prop model is great because it will give you some of those props that do have the highest edges, and you take those, you put them together, and voila, Blender, you get it on the right day, and you're sitting pretty, and that's the beauty of all the tools. It's the beauty of all the tools.
Well, Will, let's use the tools to talk about NFL. We want to put together, we throw it up on the screen, what we always do every week. We're putting together a 6-pick card over on Prize Picks. Obviously, Will is since he's in South Carolina, only in the Pick'em streets. I'm both in the prop and Pick'em streets, so I'll point out stuff on the regulated U.S. sports books for regular props, but I mean they're very, very close together because I mean a lot of them copy each other. So we want 6 that we're going to go through 6 of them today. We want some passing ones, some rushing ones, some receiving ones, and I have the Blitz, Derek Hardy's projections, which you get as an add-on here at RotoGrinders, rotogrinders.com/the-blitz, and I'll let you know whether or not it is Blitz approved. So, Will, what passing number card are you looking at on Prize Picks this week?
So I have two that I really like.
Okay,
but I think we're only going to use one of those in this particular card. So I'm making that clear because for those of you that don't know, if you don't play Prize Picks that often, when you pair a quarterback with the receiver, they're going to drop the payout on you. So we're not. I just don't play the quarterback with the receiver hardly ever anymore because I can't take losing 4 to 6 and 7x in payout.
I mean they're factoring in the correlation between the two players, and a lot of times they actually factor in the correlation between players too much, right? That it's not even worth it to do. So
right. So I'm making it clear, but one of the ones that I do like this week is Tyler Huntley at 180.5 yards. I mean, this is going to be, I think, week 3 or 4 in the offense. Obviously, he was definitely better than the last game. This time they get a matchup with Indianapolis, Blender, and so I think at 180 passing yards with the weapons that he has in the dome, say what you want. Typically, the dome games, give these quarterbacks a chance to boost their numbers here. At 180.5, I think that's just a touch too low. In my mind, probably should have come out somewhere around 194, 195.5. That would have been my guess. So 180.5 for sure for me is too low. And I already know for sure the Blitz likes that one because I checked it. But when I saw the number, I just thought it was low. I said, well, that feels a little bit low for him to be going into Indianapolis with those weapons. I went and checked the Blitz, and I was like, yeah, definitely in line with those thoughts there. So that's one of my favorites this week.
Right. I mean, they're going indoors facing the Colts defense.
Yeah.
And the Colts defense is not good. And if Richardson starts, this game may actually be closer than we'd expect. And the Dolphins, dude, you have Tyreek Hill on the turf. You got Jalen Waddle. You got A-Chain. There are a lot of outs here. The Blitz has Huntley currently at a mean of 235 yards, which makes this passing yard prop to be high edge. And the best number on the books, at least the ones that available to me here in Kentucky, Bet365 has over 180.5 minus 110. And let me tell you, I've already hit that. So it's already up on Caesars to 181.5. BetMGM 181.5 minus 115. Offshore, it's DraftKings, it's 181.5 minus 120. So get those 180.5s before this number may close at more like 190.
That's what I'm thinking, Blender. I think by the time we hit Saturday night, we're somewhere in the 190s. That's my guess. So I would certainly go ahead and get that one. And since we're on that subject, Blender, because I know I said, I'm going to have to play Huntley by himself, and I'm going to have to play the receivers by themselves. So I'm just going to go ahead and get them out of the way. I know because we're going to have to play one or the other to get the full payout. But I am attacking Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle receiving yards also. So I'm making it clear, but I'm not playing them together because the payout on Prize Picks, it's terrible. So, but I can play. So, and here's what's weird about it, Blender. I can play both receivers together and keep the normal payout. I just can't add the quarterback. Right. So that's another, I guess, I don't want to call it a trick, but you can kind of get the same upside just by leaving the quarterback out. But I did want to mention that because those are two other ones that I'm certainly invested in this week.
How about some rushing? Do you got one or two rushing props?
The rushing for me this week, Blender, I didn't like it much. It didn't feel like a great week for rushing for me this week so far. I mean, if you want to hop on the Najee Harris train again, like you can. Najee had and this is more of a projections play. Najee did have a pretty good gap on his rushing yards. So if you decide you want to do that, like I'm okay with it. I think on the Blitz he's around 75, and I think RG projections were somewhere around 60, 68 or something like that. 61, yeah, 61. So I mean, you kind of put those two together. I still think it's enough. He should still continue to get the volume. So if you like Najee, like that's one that I felt pretty good about. And then if you're gonna IKB this thing, Blender, then if the Washington running back situation could be advantageous, and this is something I talked about last week, where I was mentioning. Now this is more for DFS last week, Blender. I was mentioning I like Bijan and Algier both because this Carolina run defense has been atrocious, and I feel the same way this week about the Washington rushing attack. But I want to get some hardcore numbers on these guys because you're gonna have to worry about Daniels, Robinson, and Eckler mostly. And so I'm gonna take a little bit more time, but I do think looking at the Washington running game is going to be advantageous for us.
Well, on the Najee one, the Blitz has his mean at 75 yards, which is
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
that high. You get the over 51.5 minus 110 at bet 365. I don't know. I'm not sure how much of this number is going to necessarily move, but I mean, if you're going to attack the Jets, it's probably going to be on the ground more than in the air. So Najee should get plenty of opportunities. Another running back that should get plenty of opportunities is actually in tonight's game.
Oh, okay. I thought we were leaving off tonight because I do actually like some stuff from tonight's game. And Kamara
we'll talk about more stuff from tonight's game maybe at the very end.
Yeah. Kamara rushing attempts is like ridiculous.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. Kamara rushing attempts, man. That was one Blender. I know you probably remember the old school Looney Tunes when Bugs Bunny's eyes would jump out of his head, his mouth would drop to the floor. I think it's typically when he would see Babs, maybe. But anyway, I can't. But my larger point is, when I was looking over some stuff for tonight's game, and I saw once again another one of these kind of large gaps in rushing attempts. Not to give away all the secret sauce, but Blitz was around 21.5, I think it was. And I said, well, it doesn't matter how I feel about this. These are the edges you have to take, right? You just keep taking these types of edges and things start to come together. And that's a huge one, Blender. Love that call.
Right. This is the biggest one I have for tonight's game. It's over 16.5 minus 108 on FanDuel.
Okay.
And that number was not up yesterday. Like this number was not even up rushing attempts yesterday because I put in a ton of stuff yesterday for this game. So this just came out today. I'm assuming this number is going to move. Bet365 has it at 17.5. You have to figure in this game, I mean, they're missing Olave. They're missing Shaheed. The Broncos are probably more attackable on the ground than in the air. I mean, I don't think it's going to be I don't think tonight's game is going to be very entertaining. I think there's going to be a lot of rushing. And I think they're going to lean on Kamara a lot more. I mean, obviously, I don't have to rationalize this. I'm just kind of talking it out. I mean, I just look at the numbers and I just hammer whatever the numbers say, whatever the projections say, and I do well just doing that. But you have to figure that Kamara.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that Kamara has to be a big part of the game plan tonight.
Yeah, and let me add one more tidbit into that. And I'm going to give people an example because I think something similar is going to happen with the Kamara rushing attempt specifically, Blender. So last week, if you guys were playing, or maybe it was the week, I think it was the week before, maybe Kareem Hunt entered the props portal at 10.5 rushing attempts. If you didn't get that by the time the game started, Blender, I think he was at 13.5. It was at least 12.5. So you had given up basically 3 to 4 rushing attempts just by waiting until the game started. Now, I think Kamara ends up at 17.5 in this game by the time the game starts. So for those of you, if you're listening to this show now and you want to get in on some of tonight's action, I would say go ahead and get Kamara right now because I don't think it's going to be here at kickoff. I think it'll be 17.5 for sure. 17 at a minimum, Blender, on Prize Picks. I already like 17 at a minimum. I think it'll be there. Okay,
let's go to receiving props. We got receiving yards. We got receptions. What do you have on that end on Prize Picks?
One of my favorites this week is AJ Brown at 70.5 receiving yards. Came back last week, looks healthy. Obviously, Blender, it's a division game. But I'm not worried about the Giants. Like AJ Brown will be able to have his time, and this is another one, Blender, that for you, I think, and we probably look at it differently. I think you go to the Blitz and then plug them in. I kind of open it up, do a quick scan, and see if I can figure out what looks too low right now, and then I go and say, okay, this feels low. Let me go verify. And so that was one for me with AJ Brown, which of course, I mentioned the Miami players also, Tyreek and Waddle. Tyreek's 55.5, Waddle's 38.5, I think it is. But AJ Brown is a big one for me this week.
The Blitz has him at 85 yards as a mean. which shows us an 8.3% edge on Prize Picks, and the best number you could get right now is it actually moved. It actually moved on Caesars. DraftKings has it at over 70.5 minus 125. Shows as a 5% edge. So not like this isn't like the largest of edges. It still shows as positive. But I'm with you. I'm throwing in AJ Brown, 70.5 receiving yards more. Everyone likes the mores, right? So we try to focus on mores. Yeah. A lot of times in hockey, I'm doing lesses. I'm doing
Blender
under.
Blender, I think I've put in so far this season, and I'm not kidding. This is not an exaggeration. I think 95% of everything I put in has been unders. Like,
but the people out there like rooting for overs. They love it. So, okay, another receiving prop.
Can I bring up one more passing prop, because we only got one, and I wanted to bring this one. This one was important for me. Is that okay?
Sure.
Matthew Stafford, more than 229.5, and I think that was the line. Once again, Blender, I'm going off of everything I know that I put in that I have pretty good exposure to. But Stafford 229.5 was another huge one for me in terms of the passing this week. That's a big one, playing at home, playing in the dome, playing against Vegas. Hopefully we get a little bit of Cooper Kupp back, which will help the passing game. So once again, like, I think, that's a good one. And I know for sure the Blitz likes this one. Guaranteed.
Yeah, the Blitz has Stafford at 270 as a mean. The best number you could get on the books currently is DraftKings over 230.5 at minus 115. But it does show as a huge edge on Prize Picks. I'm assuming this number may close probably closer to like 236.5, 237.5. And especially if I don't think Kupp plays this week, but if Kupp does, I mean, it probably will close at 246.5, 248.5, something even higher.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But the carrot will get dangled, I think. But that's one for me. That's a huge one for me. And then Blender, I think, did they give us the payout on that? Did they adjust the payout?
No.
Oh, never mind.
Five out of five. We don't have six yet. No.
Blender, you're in an arena state, and I have to remember that.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I have to. I'm sorry, because I saw the 15x. I said, well, hold on a minute. What's giving us the boost? But it's arena. Got it. Never mind.
Right. I'm guaranteed. I'm right. Right. 15x. I'm guaranteed. Right on a 5 out of 5. And a 1x back if I get 4 right. It's not the normal flex. Yeah, I'm in an arena.
Correct. Yeah. I got you. Just it caught me off guard. I had to remember that.
We need one more to fill this out. Let me take a look at what I've got on the sportsbook end, and let's see if it relates to Prize Picks. Let's see what's available. I mean, I'm always down for taking Drake London overs. Right?
Well, it's been paying off for us though. Like
it's up to 73.5 on Prize Picks. Okay, that's a little bit different.
It is.
It's 68.5 on FanDuel. So I mean, if you want to take that, I'd take that. Right. I'd actually take that quickly. If it's so Blender, over, did that number not move? I mean,
I don't know. But what I'm going to do this week, Blender, is I'm going to wait to see. So sometimes when I want to get exposure to these receivers, and I know you've probably done this in the past also, if the passing numbers, sometimes the targets and receptions prop will give you a little bit more edge than the passing or receiving yards. So I'm going to wait on London this week, because this is a game where there should be a little bit of back and forth. Like DK Metcalf was one that I was interested in, but the edge was okay. I think it was maybe a 10% edge. Blender. Don't quote me on that. But DK was one I looked at. But London is one I want to see if they give us 9.5 targets. I just want to see, because he's in the situation now where he's getting double digits each week. So I want to see if they give us that, and then I want to see if they give us 5.5 receptions. I don't think they give it to us this week for what it's worth, but if they do, that's the one I'm going to attack. So I'm kind of waiting to see if they give it to us.
I think I got one last one that you probably agree with. Kenneth Walker, receiving yards. It's at 21.5. The Blitz has him at 35.
And they've been peppering him this season, Blender.
Right. I mean, the Seahawks have a 24-point implied total against the Falcons. This game should be a lot of offense. And, I mean, Kenny Walker's getting more receptions than he's getting rushes at this point. 21.5 receiving yards almost feels like a gift in a way. I mean, he's the highest.
He's another one. I'm going to see where his fantasy points prop comes out at 2, Blender, because I think last week it was 14.5. Blitz was projected for close to 20. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of giving people some options. I'm with you. 21.5 receiving yards with how much work he's gotten in the passing game this season is fantastic.
Currently, you could get over 20.5 minus 120 at BetMGM. So if you want to take that, I think I've gotten over 20.5 at minus 110 yesterday or earlier this morning. I put that in. So let's throw this in. So our final card for this week for Prize Picks: Tyler Huntley, more than 180.5 passing yards. Najee Harris, more than 50.5 rushing yards. Alvin Kamara, more than 16.5 rush attempts. A.J. Brown, more than 70.5 receiving yards. Matthew Stafford, more than 229.5 passing yards. And Kenneth Walker, more than 21.5 receiving yards. $25. I'm going to throw this in, submit the lineup. Let's see if this works, because I'm on Chrome and half the time it doesn't work. So here we go. Let's see if we get it. Oh, we got it. We got it.
You're going to get it.
We're going to get it. Okay. For the people that are just, because obviously you could watch this, for the next day or two, get the best number, get the best price, because, by Sunday morning, these numbers are going to be worse than they are now. But do you got anything else? We talked about Kamara over 16.5 rush attempts. Do you have anything else for tonight's game, Broncos versus Saints?
Yeah, so I'm taking, if you can get it, Blender, if you can get it. So I was able to get Knicks at more than 29.5 passing attempts. I don't think you can get that number anymore. I think it's 30.5, but I was able to get 29.5. If you can find it out, I take that. I don't mind the 30.5 either. I think the Blitz has it around 33, 34. So you still got some room. Same thing for Rattler. I was able to get Rattler at 28.5. I think Rattler's up to 29, but I don't think his passing yards have moved. I think he's still at 180. Should be somewhere between 183.5, 184.5. So I'm taking that. Taking Cortland Sutton, more than 6.5 targets and more than 45 to 46.5 receiving yards. Bub Means, I'm taking more than 5.5 targets and also more than 31.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, that number has moved. We have to talk about that, Will, for a second. When the Bub Means props went up, because it took a while for some of the books to put it up. I did not. I mean, when FanDuel posted that 31.5 number at minus 114, I just said, what's the max that you could give it to me? It's now up. Now FanDuel has it at 35.5 minus 110. The best number right now is MGM over 33.5 minus 120. But these numbers are going up and up. I mean, I would not be shocked by game time tonight that this number is closer to 40.
Yeah, I got it 31.5, pretty much as soon as it came up, I think. And I didn't even realize that it moved. Has it moved on Prize Picks? I'm sure it has by now.
I don't know. I mean, I don't pay attention as much to means.
Right.
33.5. It's 33.5. I mean, it's pretty much 33.5 kind of across the board. DraftKings has it at 35.5. FanDuel 35.5. I mean, this number will probably move on Prize Picks also. But I mean, the thing is that the Blitz has him projected for 52 yards as a mean. But our RotoGrinders projections has him at like 47 yards as a mean. I mean, Spencer Rattler's passing yards number is like 183. Like, how the hell does he get to 183 without throwing to anyone? I mean, you take a look at these receiving props. I took Cedric Wilson's over. I took Foster Moreau's over.
And
I mean,
yeah, Foster Moreau's
over
one I took over at 9.5, and I took his targets at 1.5, because if he gets over 9.5, clearly he could get it in one catch. But God, it feels like they have to throw to him at least 2 times in this game with the lack of professional receivers out there. So, Blender, I think we're in the same boat here. And it's funny you mentioned this. One of my friends in the prop industry, we were talking about this game this morning. Like, we were just conversing about it. And literally, Blender, you must have been a fly on the wall, because one of the first things he says was, well, if Rattler's projected for 200 plus yards, he's got to throw to some of these guys. Like, everybody's too low.
Right. No, because if you add it, I mean,
literally
just simply just common sense type of, like, common sense.
Correct.
I know these are all medians, so it's not like you can't just add them all up. But like, if Spencer Rattler's at 183, we got like here are the numbers for all the receiving prop numbers for all the players. But Means is at 30. Let's just call it 34. Cedric Wilson is at 18. Okay, so add those two together.
He was at 16, by the way.
Right, I'm giving you the current ones. They were lower before.
Okay. Understood.
Right.
Understood.
Just the current ones. So 34 plus 18 is 52. Foster Moreau is at like 10. So that's 62. We got Tipton at like 20. So that's 82. We got Juwan Johnson at 28, right? So that's like 110. And then Kamara at 34. That's 144. Like, where are the other 40? Where are all these other yards? I mean, like, it feels like either the Rattler number's wrong or all the receiver numbers are wrong. I don't know. I mean, I have Spencer Rattler's over also. I don't know. It just seems like across the board, all the numbers are low. And truthfully, kind of the same thing on the Broncos side as well. Not as much so. But I mean, if Bo Nix's prop is 193 or whatever, like Cortland Sutton's 45.5, and then everyone else is Troy Franklin 18, McLaughlin 7, Wally Williams 16, Krull. I mean, I have Krull's over on the Broncos. Just feels like everything is. It feels like the prop market, the books are having, there's going to just be tons of rushing and like no passing, but like, then why the passing yards so high?
Right. And Blender, the other thing is, just going back to this notion in terms of, using the tools we have, every projection system that we have access to here at RG suggests the numbers are going to be higher.
Right.
So it's like, well, okay, that we'll play it this way.
But I think if I were to put things together, I mean, basically I have Kamara over rushing attempts. I have his over yards also, but I like the rushing attempts more, obviously, because the bigger edge. And there's actually more on the yardage than there is on the receptions. Like, I much prefer the Means and Moreau yard. Like, Foster Moreau is over 1.5 receptions plus 140 at MGM. Bub Means is currently over 3.5 receptions plus 102 at FanDuel. Cedric Wilson is over 1.5 minus 148 at Caesars. To me, if you were to make like a SGP or something, I'd actually tie the yardage to the yardage and the receptions to the completions. If you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, understood. Absolutely.
Like, I wouldn't mind doing Rattler if you want to put together a 4-leg SGP with a boost, right? Because you got one of these boosts. This is the only time you should be using these is for with these boosts. But I wouldn't mind. I think I used one of my boosts on a Rattler over yardage, then Means over yardage, Moreau over yardage, Wilson over yardage. But then I also did a Rattler over pass completions with a Means, Moreau, and Wilson and Kamara all over receptions. So maybe he goes under, but he still completes all these passes. And he could hit both at the same time also. So that's kind of what I used the boosts for. I I don't know, for a pretty crappy game tonight, I have a good amount of props.
Yeah, Blender, same here, and clearly we ended up on pretty much the same stuff. Which and I did sprinkle in Jaleel McLaughlin less than 5.5 rushing attempts. I did sprinkle that in. The Blitz is at 5.3. RG, I think, was at like 3.9. And so I decided, okay, like combined, that feels like 4 to 5, no more than 5. So I put a sprinkle of McLaughlin less than 5.5 rushing attempts.
Okay, you can talk to Will way more often in the Chiefs Prop Shop. That's part of our Discord. It's free. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Go in there. It's active all the time. Will, you're not doing the pre-lock show tonight, but
no, not tonight. I'll be on Sunday.
But you are on the Sunday block. You're typically one of the last voices I hear before I watch Red Zone, and NBA's coming up. Oh. What is your content plans for NBA?
So for NBA, I'll probably be on some shows. I do write a content piece actually for Rotoballer for NBA every day. It's called The Best of Both Worlds. It just discusses GPP targets for the day. Well, actually, I break it down into a couple cash targets, a couple GPP targets, and then I typically discuss a couple props. So that's why it's called The Best of Both Worlds. So I'm kind of giving you both sides, the fantasy aspect and the props aspect. And that's typically an article that comes out every weekday, Monday through Friday. But so yeah, I'll be here at RG, but that is a piece that I write every day.
Right, and you'll always tweet that out. So follow.
Yep.
Follow Will at Chief Justice 06 on Twitter. I'm BlenderHD on Twitter. And hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Give me those tummy thumbs. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. We'll be going live later today for the pre-lock show for Saints and Broncos Thursday Night Football. I'll be on tomorrow with Cardi. We'll be talking about GPP strategy for the main slate for DraftKings on NFL Week 7. And then be back next week. And, boy, all the sports start coming up. And we're going to be rolling here at RotoGrinders. Tons of content, tons of shows. And you'll always see me Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock Eastern, talking about all things you're thinking about in daily fantasy, props, and pick'em on RotoGrinders Today.